Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining the January CPNA monthly meeting, the first one of 2024. So happy New Year's. We have a very brief agenda today, so hopefully that will allow us to have some more community dialogue this evening. Just to start off, if you have any additional people that are on your call that are not on the participation list, please make sure you put them in the chat so we can count their attendance. We want to make sure everybody has their voting eligibility accurate. Also, please make sure to stay muted just so that we don't have any background noise. So if you'd like to be called on to speak, just raise your hand and we'll be able to get you on the floor. You can see on the screen, we have our agenda. I do not have the written minutes for December 2023. However, all of our minutes are posted on YouTube. It is the full recording. Do we have any objections to last month's meeting? I know we don't have written minutes. All right, as I hear none, we'll go to the agenda. The agenda is on the screen. I'd like to approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Julie. Sorry, and I am taking notes while I'm doing this, so please forgive me. Are there any in opposition for the agenda being approved? All right, as I have no opposition, we'll move on to our public safety report. I believe Sergeant Brooks is on the call. You have the floor.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Good, thank you.
Hope everybody's good. Good. Okay, so just wanted to, for the month of December, just wanted to give a breakdown of both of our crime enforcement on 305's beat, Chosewood Park area. We had 25 total Part 1 crimes. And I can get, if anyone has specifically ones that they've heard about that they're concerned about, I can, pull a report and give you a little detail if possible if you need that. But we had 6 aggravated assaults. Were reported 5 burglaries, 5 theft from motor vehicles, 8 motor vehicle thefts, and 1 that was classified as other larceny. Enforcement wise, we had on 305's beat a total of 28 arrests, 10 of which were for traffic offenses, 8 narcotics violations, 7 other various Part 2, which are the minor misdemeanor stuff like that, which criminal trespass, things like that. 2 quality of life, and we did make an arrest on 1 of those aggravated assaults. Total traffic stops for the area, we did 114 total stops, issuing a total of 26 traffic citations. We had 2 firearms recovered, 1 of which was stolen. And auto theft recoveries, we had 3, 1 of which I actually recovered myself at the that top parking lot at the top end of Chosewood Park in the actual park itself. So that's basically the rundown for the stats for the month. Does anybody have any questions?
I'll open the floor to any questions for Sergeant Brooks. Jacob, you have your hand.
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me. I know I'm in a loud place right now, but there was something that came up as far as an email regarding a tractor trailer that has been parked on Hill Street, the corner of Hill Street and Dalton. We had gotten a few phone calls, and then I saw an email come out this morning. Essentially, this truck's been running, sitting there, rarely ever moves, but it is right in front of the stop sign. We've had complaints saying that the Department of Water trash trucks are having a hard time getting around that. So I was just wondering if we could maybe take a look at that vehicle and see if we could get it either to be moved or moved down further on the street on Dalton so that it's not creating an issue at that intersection.
Sure thing. You said that was Hill Street and Dalton, correct?
Yes, Hill Street and Dalton.
Okay, I'll get that checked out for you.
Thank you. Maria Eiler, you have the floor.
guys, I was wondering, you mentioned about all the traffic stops in the area, which is wonderful, but we are still having trouble in the neighborhood, especially down Hill Street, with people running stop signs. I work mostly evenings, so I really get a good grasp of it at nighttime after dark. And I don't see police presence in the evening. I have seen some during the daytime, but is there anything we can do to help slow the traffic down also after dark with all these people running stop signs and speeding down the street?
What I can do for you, is it just on Hill Street, that direct line there on Hill Street?
Well, I live on Hill Street, so that's what I see most of the time. But I mean, we've got bad drivers all over Atlanta.
Of course.
Place last year, we've had some traffic slowing, but we're still getting people day and night who don't even stop for the stop signs. It's one thing if they're slowing down, but the stop signs have been there long enough now for people to know that they're there.
Okay. I will mention it to your beat officer to start doing some enforcement along Hill Street for the stop signs.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, and just to comment on that, living up on the hill, we do hear a lot of racing, and it's directed from Hill Street more towards Peoplestown, and they're coming towards Chosewood Park, so south on Hill Street, and coming into the neighborhood.
Okay, so general consensus right now for tonight, I'm looking is a lot going on Hill Street that we need to address.
Yes, please.
No problem.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for our Public Safety Officer, Sergeant Brooks? All right, as I see none, thank you so much, Sergeant Brooks. And I can actually forward you the email about the tractor trailer if you like. You're muted at the time.
Oh, sorry about that. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you could email that to me, and you all have a great night.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
All right, so moving on to our comments from public officials. I do not believe that we have any of them on this evening. It is the first month of the year, so they are just as busy as we are. I don't see anybody on, so we will move on to our treasurer's report. Let me just switch screen.
Is that me?
All right, you able to see the bank statement at the time?
Yep.
Okay, that's you, Katie.
Okay, so not much to report this month. Hardly any activity. As I don't even have access to the bank account yet, so this is actually the first time I'm looking at the bank statements. But we're hoping to get access to all of that later this month.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you guys want to know about that I could possibly inform you of? Just let me know. I can put my Chosewood Park email in here if anyone ever has any questions.
Appreciate it. Are there any questions for our treasurer? All right, and I know that Katie's going to be working on getting us set up with QuickBooks and getting some books put together, so we're not looking at bank statements. Hopefully it'll make it a little easier for us to understand where money's going in and out on these accounts throughout the year. All right, let me just switch screens again. Next up is going to be our committee reports, Friends of Chosewood Park. I know they said they might have a delay. Is there anybody here from Friends of Chosewood Park?
They are not, but I'm not sure if you saw the email. I can pull it up real quick and read through that, or I believe you might have it as well, Secretary.
I do have it in front of me. All right, so they have an event coming up. It's their Q1 meeting. It's January 20th at 9:30. You can go to their website in order to look for the Zoom link. A couple updates, the playground update. They received a notification for the grant of $150,000 to replace the playground by February 1st. So they want to thank District 1 Council Member Winston for $50K of those funds, which he donated from his discretionary budget to Park Pride for capital improvements within D1. The City Department of Parks and Recreation is partnering with Friends of Chosewood Park on the project and it has contributed $250K to the project through the Moving Atlanta Forward Infrastructure Bond Program. Demolition of the existing playground will begin in February and the project is currently projected to be completed by May 2024. Sorry about that. The city and our community friends group will host a ribbon cutting sometime in spring or summer of 2024. So please stay updated for that. With the park improvements, that means that the playground will be off limits and a portion of the green space, the field, just due to the construction. So as to the Galt Street entrance and Unity Bridge update, they want to thank Bobby Spaler, Taryn, Stacy from the Conservative Fund and the D1 council member Winston for their work and funds towards buying 1385 Galt Street, which was donated to the city of Atlanta as an additional park entrance. Taryn and Bobby each contributed $2,500 of their own funds, as well as a lot of time and efforts coordinating the purchase of the property in order to put the property under contract. Next steps include update from the existing park boundaries and topography survey to include the new parcel. They'll be getting a tree survey and geotech engineering study of the stream where the bridge will be built. There's actually 2 bridges now that will be built based on the new design. They received a quote for $3,700 and $4,200 for the survey of the new parcel, along with the missing parcels on Eric Street. And that includes the update of the tree survey. It also says Nicole Weiswasser of Chosewood Park CDC will provide further updates on the entrance, which we'll do during the CPCDC. Cameras in the park. So Taryn made a request to DPR Commissioner Cutler with support from Councilmember Winston at the end of December for Chosewood Park to be moved to the priority list for park cameras, giving 2 separate instances of teen shootings and firearms in the park. The request was rejected by Commissioner Cutler, but they are working with APD to increase patrols. Are there any questions that I may be able to answer regarding Friends of Chosewood Park? All right, as any see now, we'll move on to CPCDC. I'll hand it over to Paul McMurray as the co-chair first.
Thank you. Paul McMurray. The CDC will have its next meeting February 6th. At that time, we will discuss creating new bylaws. Due to the large grant we received, the bylaws we have may not be adequate to support applications to getting new grants. As a result, changes have to be made. So that will start on February 6th. We're looking to add new board members and especially a treasurer. So that will be done at the meeting, and maybe some adjustments to the board we made at that time to accommodate. We're closing out the Lakewood grant, and we expect to submit a new one at the end of March. So if there are needs in the community that people in the community would like to address, like I noticed one of our community signs has been cut in half. Maybe we want to put it back together. Things like that. Okay. Since Nicole is a secretary, she usually has something to add. So Nicole, what do you
Thank you, Paul. So just a quick correction on that. Catherine Romack as treasurer of CPNA is nominated for the treasurer of CPCC. She'll be able to assist with all the tasks when it comes to accounting for our grant requirements. So we will be doing an emergency meeting for that so we can vote her in and get her on the accounts. That way we can keep moving forward with the grant. As of right now, we just received yesterday actually a preliminary budget for the full project, which includes everything except for the actual installation of the bridges, as Atlanta Housing should be handling that. Once we are able to get a complete survey and tree survey, topography and trees, we should be able to move forward a little more with the design. We have done multiple walks over the park as to where to do placement of the trails, if any of the trail needed to be shifted, as well as placement of the bridge and any staircases. As we know, some of it is a little slippery and muddy, and as it rains, it's a little unsafe for us to walk. So we're trying to make sure that we're not just doing bridge installation or just a entrance on Galt Street. We're looking to actually do renovations on the trail. With the new parcel that's off of Galt Street, we're going to be looking at two entrances. One is a primary entrance with parking, and another one which is just a trailhead that'll have a walking path to the street. So hopefully we can do a little extra expansion on this to include more than what we originally planned. Are there any questions for CPCDC? All right, as I see none, we will move on to our transportation committee.
Hi, happy.
I believe you're muted. It went out and came back on.
All right. Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, one of the things was the truck on Hill in Dalton. So I'm glad that was addressed. And then I've been putting together an email to send to the construction companies as well as some of the chairs of like the public works about like all the high speed and then like technically illegal trucks that are going up and down because you're not supposed to have more than 6 wheels, I believe, on Hill and Grant. So I know I've put in some requests to the city with no avail. And so I'm just going to send a big email to a lot of people with trying to address that. And hopefully we can have something happen about that. But if anybody else has any requests on about our street safety, go ahead and let me know or put it in the comments and I will add that to the email. But right now, well, Maria, spoke about the stop signs, but really I want to focus on all the truck activity because they really fly through here and they're not even supposed to be on our streets and they're just going to keep coming and doing a lot of damage. So, and then Nicole, you and I still need to get together about some of the grants for the Propel.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's really about it, y'all. Just getting over that holiday hump.
I do have a couple updates on that, but we'll open the floor for any questions or comments for our transportation chair.
Probably not.
All right, so as to the trucking routes that have been taken through Hill Street and Grant, some of that is Atlanta Public Works and some of that has actually been the construction vehicles from Atlanta Housing. We do have a new representative that we're speaking with in Atlanta Housing. Our original rep has moved to another project. So hopefully we can not only get an update from them, but we've also addressed that issue of trucks coming through as they do have access off of Inglewood. They are going to bring that to awareness with the contractor and see if we're able to reduce how much is going through at least south on Grant and try to stick to Inglewood. As to Atlanta Public Works, we have tried multiple times through Councilmember Winston's rep, Marco Allmert, to see if Atlanta Public Works will stop using any of our side streets and actually take Inglewood to Boulevard. However, we have not gotten a response, so hopefully Julie can get a little more information from the city.
Yeah, I did a bunch of research and got a lot of people's names and email addresses, and I had reached out to y'all. So I figured we were so close to the meeting, I would just wait up a couple more days to see if there were any more things that people wanted to bring attention to. And I was really hoping, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but Winston's representative was going to be here. But I do know there's a lot of meetings that happen tonight, so I can reach out to him prior. And he is part of my email list on that, so at least y'all are as well. But I've just learned that sometimes the more people you group in the mix, the quicker a response you can get. If you pick one person, it takes one.
Absolutely. Yeah, Michael Omer is pretty quick on responses, but I know that he did have some time that he took off during the holiday as well. So hopefully
Yeah.
everybody's getting back on track this as we get into the month a little more.
Yeah, so for sure. But yeah, and then Nicole will arrange when to talk about the Propel stuff, hopefully soon. So
Absolutely.
Right.
Also, Michael Ulmer was able to put in a request for a stop sign at Inglewood and Grant to help reduce some of the speeding and hopefully help with some of the near accidents that are occurring from the public works trucks and people trying to turn onto Inglewood.
Yeah, I would, it's really with all these apartment complexes going in, it would be really, really wonderful if the city of Atlanta like just dedicated, or we could get Chosewood Park to be like dedicated as like even like a test, like to really like put in like a solid infrastructure and just to show them like traffic calming circles. Like there are things that work outside of stop signs, and it would just be really nice if we could make that happen. And actually I know it falls on me a little bit, a lot. But that's my vision. It's just a lot. The city of Atlanta is really challenging for infrastructure and communication.
I do give you kudos because working with ATL, DOT, and GDOT is not easy. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, well, I'm trying. But all right, yeah, if anybody has any requests, I'll put my email address. I still use my own personal email address, but if anything that comes up, I'll send off the email probably by the end of this week. So let me know and I will tag it along in there. But mainly it's a large truck traffic from the city works and from the construction companies. So yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so as you can see on the agenda, there are no voting matters, no old business, and no new business. So we're getting through this meeting super quick. We are now on to closing statements. So any announcements, community concerns, or questions? I will open the floor before I make a couple announcements. All right, I see no hands at the time. We do have MPUY is doing a public safety meeting. It is the first of 2024. We're going to be having some of our solicitors on there as well as council members and APD. So if you're having any concerns about public safety or criminal activity, please make sure to attend. I'm going to put the information in the chat. It's also on the MPUY website. And another MPUI update is that the general body meeting will not be held on the third Monday next month. It will be held on the following Tuesday due to President's Day. So hopefully that'll give everybody a nice long weekend. And that is all for my updates. Are there any other comments or questions from the general body?
I just want to, excuse me, I just wanted to say thank you all for voting me on the board. And it's very nice to meet all of you tonight. And I look forward to working with Chosewood Park and getting to know all of you this year.
Thank you, Katie. We're very excited. All right, as I see no other hands, we'll move on to adjournment. I will motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right, second by Katie. Are there any in opposition? All right, as I see none, we are adjourned at 7:27.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.